The planet Earth, our home, is part of the Milky Way galaxy, containing hundreds of millions of stars and solar systems. And part of our universe is radiation. A lot of it is good for us. The radiation that comes from the sun heats up the plants and allows them to carry out photosynthesis. But too much radiation and the wrong types of radiation accelerate the aging of our cells and our DNA and can prematurely kill us. If you get enough radiation, you can die in a matter of minutes from it. And since the discovery of the atom in around 1900 by Max Planck and other German physicists, we've been able to harness the power of the atom, and thousands of nuclear power plants have been built around the world. A little more than 450 are supplying power today. There are several thousand institutional reactors around the world, like right here at the University of Texas in Austin. And many of these are built on fault lines, and not just fault lines, they're built on tsunami areas like Fukushima in Japan. More than 90% of reactors are currently leaking, and the nuclear industry, a group that I was supportive of a few decades ago, now just doesn't seem to care, and have even turned off the alarms in places like Southern California when the reactors are leaking. And so now we've seen a laissez-faire attitude where people are not concerned about the radiation leaking out of these plants, or when we see tsunamis and earthquakes hit Fukushima and the huge plume that within a matter of weeks traveled across the Pacific Ocean with the trade winds slamming in to the west coast of the United States. And there's been some new developments today that I'd like to share with the viewers out there so that hopefully people can be aware of what's happening and try to take some precautions to protect ourselves and our families. And now another huge typhoon named Neoguri is set to slam into the coastline and basically score a direct hit on Fukushima that is currently melting down into the soil. They're dumping seawater on it for 3+ years, and the radiation is contaminating the ocean and air at levels higher than the original explosion. Remember, 5 of the 6 reactors were seriously damaged and partially melted down, dwarfing what we saw with the 1986 Chernobyl disaster that the UN estimates has killed more than 1 million people since. Here's the headline: Fukushima nuclear plant in Tokyo on alert as typhoon nears. Another headline out of the London Telegraph: Typhoon Neoguri heads for Fukushima nuclear plant. Couldn't have been built in a worse place. And that makes us ask the question, again, what's wrong with the psychology of the elite that they would build hundreds of these plants on fault lines and other dangerous areas and then not even care as they continue to melt down? It's as if they have a death wish, not just for us individually or our children, but for themselves and this planet. Because in the last 3+ years since Fukushima, we have immediately seen increased radiation in the tuna. We are now seeing massive die-offs all over the Pacific as krill at the bottom of the food chain that help continue the entire food chain in the ocean and on this planet are dying off. And researchers believe it's tied to the radiation, with it bioaccumulating in them. And again, the radiation levels are off the chart in tuna off of the West Coast, Oregon, California. This has been going on for 3+ years and has been covered up by the Western press. It's confirmed by scientists worldwide that this is happening, but by the time it hits PBS, they say it's a mysterious epidemic devastating the starfish and other life in the Pacific Ocean. Ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing thyroid disorders expand off the chart here in the United States. We're seeing birth defects increase. But we already saw that with our troops that were around depleted uranium in the last few Gulf wars. They have got a 5-fold, according to even Life magazine, increase in birth defects. And citizens of Fallujah, where they use the largest amounts of DU, have seen between a 10 and 17-fold, according to the British Medical Journal, increase in all sorts of different debilitating and life-threatening and life-ending mutations in the children. But still, our establishment and our Pentagon is only expanding the use of depleted uranium. So this is bigger than just talking about Fukushima or Chernobyl. It's about looking at an establishment that is completely out of their minds and must be stopped. Now, there's good news. Citizens in the last few years with their own professional radiation equipment, some of them engineers and nuclear engineers, physicists, have gone out and tested off the West Coast and proved up to 10 times the previously safe level of radiation. When our reporters went out there earlier this year, it finally caused newspaper articles to be written about the research Sha'Carri Jackson and others were doing with our Geiger counters and field meters, and forced the Pentagon and the Navy to begin official testing. They admitted radiation levels are increasing, but told the public that they were safe. My friends, the truth is we need to raise public awareness about the disaster that is nuclear power and the disaster that is the proliferation of radioactive isotopes and their pollution all throughout our society and our life, and the added threat of frequency pollution, GMO, and more. Only by looking at the dangers and admitting the dangers can we make societal changes that mitigate and then hopefully reverse this. We've done this on so many other fronts. If we start caring again about ourselves, our family, and our Earth, we can do it together. And finally, I don't want to leave you without hope. Taking action is key, but also chelating your body, according to all the experts and doctors and pharmacists and researchers I've talked to, is key. Drinking purified water and getting the good halogen, iodine, in the body that blocks the different radioactive isotopes on record that precipitate out on the thyroid, and also help the body overall defend itself from a lot of the toxins in the bad area of the halogen family, like bromide, bromide, fluoride, that are in the food and water supply. And that's why in my own search a few years ago for the very best iodine to protect myself and my family, I came across a system being developed by Dr. Group that was proprietary, and you know it as Survival Shield, True Nascent Iodine. Now in the last year, we've been able to develop, and just now released in the last few months, what we call X2, from a source no one else has, from between 7,000 and 10,000 feet or more under the earth, mined right here in the United States, truly pure, the strongest form out there, purple crystal in the elemental form of iodine. Now, I've been on this about 6 months while it was being developed. It's only been out about 2 months for the general public. You've heard the rave reviews, but what it's done for my skin, my body, my stamina, my clarity, no wonder they don't want the public getting true iodine and want a bunch of bad halogens in the food and water supply, because they literally block consciousness, block your neurons. They literally attack your organs and your glands, whereas on record, iodine, such an essential element and trace element, is so key. You would die without it. But the government has incredibly low allowance levels that they claim you need. And under Codex Alimentarius in the UN, they're trying to lower it even more. So help spread the word about the dangers of Fukushima. Help support the InfoWar and your own body and your family by going to InfoWarsLife.com and securing your proprietary nutraceutical X2 Nascent Iodine and other incredible supplements from the InfoWarsLife.com family. And before we go back to InfoWars Nightly News, I also want to encourage all the viewers out there on this Friday night edition to join me live this Sunday for the Sunday radio broadcast, 4 to 6 p.m. Central, and back weekdays, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central. You can find station listings, the free iPhone app, the free podcast, and more at Infowars.com/show. And never forget, if you're watching this transmission and taking action, you are the resistance.
Celebrate the spirit of freedom and liberty upon which our nation was founded at InfoWarsShop.com. Molon Lave is ancient Greek for come and take it. This popular design combines both classic Greek Spartan imagery with modern M16 assault rifles. Now available in women's tees and proudly made in the USA. And now you can protect yourself from corrupt cops with the InfoWars dash cam. It's your car's black box that records all that the driver sees and hears. And introducing the Block It Pocket. It renders your phone undetectable while protecting your private data and your health. Or take back your privacy and protect your personal information by getting your very own Detractor cell phone pouch. So get incredibly high-quality, freedom-based products and help fund the revolution at InfoWarsShop.com. InfoWarsShop.com.